Hi, I'm Joey.
Motivation. The reason or reasons one has for acting or behaving in a particular way.
Can I ask a question?
No.
Motivation. What motivated Joey to be with us today?
To come and join us today. Thank you for joining us today.
Well, thank you for having me. I liked what you
Thank
guys
you
were
for
doing,
joining us
I
today.
guess. So, do you just write definitions in this book and then just...
Yeah,
is there anything
you
else
know.
important in the book?
Well, for this
Grocery
one,
lists?
I didn't have enough time to write definitions, so I just read it off of Google. That's a little acting magic there.
Alright. book
yeah.
is a
The
lie.
secret behind the,
Wow.
behind the show.
Yeah, I got the definitions. I got episode notes. I have my bank information, so this is very
Nice.
important
Yeah.
book to have.
Do you have anything about me in there?
Some fan fictions, yes.
Oh,
that I write.
I knew it.
But those are just for me.
Must be a really big book.
No.
What motivated you to come here today?
I'm selling Ambition Media for you guys. This is the pitch. You guys clip this out.
Have
Sponsor.
you made any sales yet? Because we're getting
We
Right
need
now,
to-
this is the start of it.
Oh.
Yeah, for
Thank
sure.
you.
Oh, yeah.
What motivated us to do this?
To start the podcast or have Joey on?
Either. I guess to start the podcast will motivate it. We've talked about this before. though.
A little bit.
Just that drive to do something creative.
Drive, being like in a low point in our lives and just wanting to make
Wanting something
a
more.
change. Is there something that you want to change?
Like
your
in my
now?
life?
Yeah.
I think that... I don't know if... I think there's... It's always important to be hungry, right? To always want that next step. And I think it would be amazing to be able to, make money off being creative. But, they don't know. But you guys know, I'm a teacher, right?
Right.
I'm very satisfied with that career, right?
Okay.
I love my students. I love what I do. But, man, if I could be, an author or something like that, of course that would be...
Yeah.
the next step. And that's why, again, part of the reason why I came here was just you guys clearly have these ambitions and goals that align with things that I feel too. And it's let's share in that love.
That's really encouraging to hear that you and other people out there feel the same way that we feel, because one of our main hopes is to, as people navigate what they want to do creatively, we want to kind of help them figure out what the next steps are. And what we're doing, we're just sharing that information with people.
You mentioned writing. Are there which creative outlets are you looking for? Because you mentioned writing, and I think once you mentioned before about kind of being a streamer or something with gaming. Or, there's so many different things to do.
It's so hard because there's so many choices, right?
Right.
But if I could do something, I would love it to be if I could number one dream job, I'd be an author.
Okay.
I think that there's something just special about people who just write just incredible stories, and I would love to do that. And I've tried writing things before. I'm writing something right now, but it's hard to find motivation to do it, especially when you're also motivated to succeed in the job that you currently have. You know what I mean? So it is tough.
How long have you felt that drive to be an author?
I would say since my sophomore year of college, I would want to say. Yeah, it's been probably just since the beginning of when I committed to okay, I'm going to go to school to be a teacher. I always had this thought in the back of my mind, but maybe I'd be happier doing something else, right? So there it is. Yeah. What?
Thank you.
You have such an infectious laugh. I love it.
So
I'm just trying
you
to
mentioned
connect.
reconciling an ambition or a drive with the current situation that you're in.
Yeah.
How do you see yourself achieving artistic wants and desires while also maintaining a normal life?
Well, I guess right now is a part of achieving some artistic desires because I'm doing something that I've always wanted to do. I'm participating in this thing that's going to be on the internet. I'm going to watch myself. I'm going to probably hate it. And it's going to be great, you know what I mean? So I have a question. How do you guys feel about motivation? Is there... So sometimes when I think about motivation, to me, I think about sometimes the struggle is that, like, you want to change in your life, right?
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes you don't know what that change is.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like a mystery. So how do you guys deal with that?
If you want to have a change in your life and you're not sure what the change is, I would say first have some introspection and figure out, where exactly your stress or frustration in your life is coming from.
Do you have, like, specific exercises of, like, introspection? Sometimes, I mean, you can say, like, yeah, look into yourself, but some people don't know how to do that.
I guess you would have to look at instances in your life where you feel the most upset and see if you recognize a trend.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that's
Yeah, I kind of just have like long sessions of like self therapy where I'm just like talking to myself. If they're like, if the house is, if I'm in my house alone, like if someone was there, they would just think I'm crazy. I'm just like talking to myself and stuff. But I mean, without going to a therapist or anything, but I kind of just trying to figure that out myself too. Where I'm just trying to say if I have a negative emotion, I just try to break it down. It's like the core aspects.
Makes sense.
You mentioned, the likelihood of you being an artist or being an author specifically and being successful. What do you personally define success as?
Happiness. I mean, I think that that's satisfaction, happiness and satisfaction. And I don't think that maybe it's an unpopular opinion for like an ambition-based podcast, but sometimes I don't think that people need to achieve their highest dream in order to be satisfied with life, you know what I mean? I mean, that's a pretty high bar to set. Everybody's not going to reach their dreams. That's not the way it works. But, I mean, yeah, it'd be nice if all of us...
We will!
Watch us! Except for them.
Jerry, it's time to go. You're getting kicked out of the podcast.
Well, I'm being honest. Like,
no, yeah.
There is just... There's a reality to your ambitions, and I think that people can get carried away with how... Like, you don't want to hinge your happiness on the idea of, like, I am going to be an author. Right. What if you're not? I looked it up. There's, like, less than 1,000 authors in America make money off of writing stories.
But, listen, just because you're not making money or making a certain metric of money, even as a person who writes something, you are an author.
That's true. Yeah,
I want to bounce off that, like, but does that put you in a negative space if you're that down on yourself?
It doesn't. I'm not down on myself. What I am is I'm not hinging my happiness on achieving this dream that just seems so rare. You know what I mean? But that doesn't mean that I'm not trying to achieve that dream.
Right.
It just means that if I don't achieve it, I'm not going to, in the future, 20 years, if I don't become an author, I'm not going to look back and say my life was a failure.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I think that's important. Yeah, exactly. At least I tried it. Right.
That's what all this shit is. I mean, like, 3 of you watch this, but at least we're doing it, so fuck you.
I'm one of them. I'm one of the 3. So it's really 2 of you.
Right. Hey, see you next week. Thanks for watching. Do you game?
I love video games, dude. It's my favorite right now. Well, not right now. It's my favorite all the time. It's been great, and I love playing video games. I think it's an amazing storytelling medium because you have to interact with the whole thing.
Do you ever find that it could be a distraction from trying to achieve other stuff in your life?
No. So for me,
it is the other stuff in your life.
Exactly. You have a tough day. I look forward to going home and being able to play Dishonored. You know what I mean? To like step out of my reality for a second. And that's why I like books too. Like, I don't like listening to audiobooks because I can do other things while I listen to audiobooks. I like cracking open a book and just having to like not focus on my life for a little bit. You know, it's nice
There's
to take
this
a step back. Consensus
and the stigma, especially among artists, that like every spared minute of your day should be like put into creating something or advancing something, but you will really burn yourself out that way if you're just constantly trying to, I should be doing something. Like, leisure is probably the most important tool for creation. Definitely. And just ambition in general.
So what's the balance for that? Because I've said multiple times on this podcast that I have too much leisure. I get too lazy, I get too unmotivated, and that's the downfall for me.
Where is the balance?
Give yourself a reward system.
A reward system.
Yeah. Like, okay, I did this amount of work. I've given myself 2 hours to play video games this week or whatever. You know, like it doesn't have to be. It could be I read a book. I make it a point to try to read every day, whether that's for 5 minutes, whether it's for 2 hours. You know what I mean? I try to at least read a little bit a day, just so I'm giving myself something. You know what I mean? Just give yourself a little reward. I feel like that could be the balance, like almost like you're earning it for yourself. And it's like self-discipline too, so you're practicing.
I've been experiencing like some hiccups in terms of like artistic work that I'm trying to push into professionalism, and I think maybe because I'm not holding myself accountable more and I'm just taking my leisure. It's unlimited leisure, honestly, because there's no deadline to the things that I'm trying to do. And I'm just kind of taking advantage of that, and then I look at the situation like nothing got done. So I think I should use your reward system, like you said.
I mean, I don't necessarily like have a reward system myself, but I think if you have a problem balancing it,
we can make one.
Exactly. We can put the little gold stars.
You and me, we can make a reward system.
A reward system for us. All right.
You could call me when you've been good, and I'll call you when I've been good.
Okay, perfect. Excellent. Yeah, I think that'll work out perfectly. I love that idea.
Accountability, though, could be a big factor in that. I mean,
well, accountability is important.
That.
It's one of the most important things like in the world.
You know, you're responsible for your own future.
Right.
No, you are.
Yeah. Personal accountability. If you are stressing yourself out because you don't feel like you're working enough or putting enough art out, just hold yourself accountable. Maybe come up with a reward system, like you said, you know, to kind of push yourself in a gentle and fun way to make something and also have fun. Yeah, have fun. That's crucial. And let the motivation come to you. It can be infectious sometimes. I mean, like if you don't, I don't know if like sometimes you feel like this. Like I'll go weeks without writing anything because I'm just like I don't want to. Right.
Why would I write? I'm not gonna force myself to do it. You know what I mean? Like you gotta let it come to you.
I'm glad you said that because I do want to circle back to that. Like, how do you put yourself in a creative mood, or what is the atmosphere you put yourself in when you are doing the writing or when you do want to write?
My leisure time. Yeah, I would say like a lot of the like if I get writer's block. One of the biggest like solutions would be like start reading. You know what I mean? Like you can get not like take ideas from authors, but like just see how other people write and just see how that goes. You know, and it's I don't know. I mean, it is tough for sure. That's something we mentioned in the last episode, like using comparison to your advantage to make good art, comparing yourself to other good artists. Well, that's a big thing, like in teaching, like. There is no such thing as like stealing an idea from another teacher. It's like everybody just shares it. Like whatever works, you know? It's like you're encouraged to steal an idea if it's good, you know what I mean? And it's not like, I mean, you know, it's whatever works for these kids, but it's also like, that's different in the entertainment sphere. You can't just take everybody's ideas, but everybody's influenced by something. The entertainment sphere should be more open about the sharing of ideas though, because if it's for the greater good of art, if it's for the sake of just putting good art out, if you see a good idea and you want to emulate that or use that, it shouldn't be so restrictive. If you want to copy us, please do and send it everywhere. Make it better. I bet you could. What creative mind space or mood do you have to be in to make something? And then I'll tell mine. I guess it depends what I'm creating. If it's this podcast, obviously being here and being with you guys and just being in what feels like a studio. You'd be surprised. It looks like a studio. Other than that, what even else do I do that's creative? That's something I'm still figuring out. Don't you grow like carrots and stuff? Yes. Wow. That's pretty creative. You put a seed in the soil and you water it and then it grows. That's it. What's in your head when you're doing that? Put the seed in the soil, water it, and then just watch it grow. That's funny because like when I'm making music in my head, it's like put that there, and then that sounds good. Yeah, yeah. It's like you got the green thumb. Yeah. Thank you. If I'm editing an episode, that's obviously not here. It definitely has to be like that's a little more technical, a quiet space. But I mean, that's in the art of creativity, though. True. That's half of building an episode. Right. One half is filming it, the other half is editing. Right. The half that I'm not a part of.
Yeah. One half should be writing it, but we always skip that
We
part.
skip
for preparing.
Oh,
I was very prepared for today's topic, by the way.
It just shows how
Very
creative we go.
prepared.
But as I was saying, though, like for the editing part at least, that is a creative.
I'm sorry. Start over.
Yeah. But as I was saying, for the editing part of the creativity process, you know, I guess I need to find myself in kind of a quiet space, more of like kind of like a personal space. Like I don't like having people around me. I just kind of like being in private. So, how about you?
For if I'm like actually sitting down and creating a piece of music, it obviously needs to be quiet. I have in the past made music with music playing in the background. It's very chaotic. I'll just wait until, cause like there's always ideas in my head, but I'll wait until an idea starts to like grow legs, and like I can kind of like see it move from point A to point B, and then I'll sit down and I'll like, here's my idea with the legs, and then it'll just kind of start moving around. It's really abstract. I don't know how better to describe it. It just grows.
Into a little adult idea.
You put it in the soil and you water it.
So like, if you have an idea and like you're not sure when it's ready to be put out, like just wait until it starts moving around. If that makes sense to you.
I think what I've gotten out of this is that creativity is gardening. That's about it. That's the analogy.
Life is gardening.
Life's a garden, dig it.
You get what
Dirt,
you
2003.
You reap what you sow. You do reap what you sow. People get what they deserve. So remember that.
Very good.
But let's go back. In terms of like from a technical standpoint, if I'm like editing a music video or one of these episodes or something like that, editing photos, I do like a little bit of music in the background, and I just, you know, you just kind of know what you need to see or need to hear. And you can just kind of be more technical about it.
Do you have a deadline for the writing that you're doing? Do you have an
No accountability here. I'm not, I don't have a deadline. It's just whenever it gets done, it gets done. I have the whole story planned out. You know what I mean? I have like a whole timeline of like this is how everything goes. But I haven't. It's just like whenever I get around to writing.
Don't ask me what it is.
No, I was going to say, what if I told you you're not allowed back on the podcast until you finish it?
Yeah, so tell him to write that book so he can come back. Thank you for coming on and asking us questions. Thank you for allowing us to ask you questions.
Thank you for allowing me to be here. Thank you for cleaning the glass off of the table.
Don't.
I sat down at it.
It wasn't a lot. Tell him what I handed you.
No. No. You wouldn't believe it if I told you.
You're welcome anytime. Thanks for watching, everybody.
No, we gotta do better.
That's
than
a
that.
great way to
We're
end
always
it.
like, we always wrap it up though, like Captain Planet. Like, now remember,
Stay motivated.
stay motivated.
Stay hungry.
Don't hold yourself.
listen.
Stay hungry.
Stay hungry.
You can always do better.
Yeah.
You can always do better.
You can
That's what
always-
evolution's all about. We improve
Is
every
that like too
day.
forceful? You can
No, no,
always
no.
do better.
The only thing I would add to that is, thanks for watching, everybody.
Excellent.